All right, everybody. I hope you are doing well. I'm Jules the Thought. This is Allegedly Innocent, and today is January the 8th, 2023. So, we continue this conversation related to the murders of Ethan Chapin, Xana Kernodle, um, Maddie, and Kaylee. And what a creepster Brian Koberger appears to be, right? Well, it does seem like people that may be a bit sadistic or have some personality problems of their own, those people tend to get really attracted to people like Brian Koberger. And it is not unusual to see a horrific crime and then you get these copycat crimes that kind of come in light waves afterwards. They never reach the level of the original crime, but people that are disturbed, they get very excited about the original monster or the actions of the original monster. People get very excited about that. People that are troubled, and then they may just fantasize about it, or they may actually make a decision to try and follow in their footsteps or finish what the original monster did not finish. Now, I'm coming on pretty harsh with this topic, but it's making my point. The majority of creators in the true crime community on YouTube, I think it would be safe to say a majority, maybe not all of them, but a majority have chosen not to air the audio, the Ring doorbell audio of let me put it this way, when Brian Koberger was in their home. Most of us have chosen not to show it on our channels. And there are reasons why. The first thing that came to my mind was, my God, the families, the friends. I mean, let's face it, just like with Shanann Ruchek, she had so many friends. And then you look at these 4 college students, very popular, very outgoing, extroverted, very active on their campus and in their community. There are literally hundreds of people to be victimized by hearing this audio. So best not to. And for me, for my comfort zone, I don't really want to be a part of that. So, and I think most of the creators I've seen have sort of done the same. Some are a bit, I think Rev, he's a bit hesitant. He said he doesn't want to air something that may not be authentic and, things like that. Well, I've spent a lot of time listening to it. I think some of the words, I don't think they've got it accurate, what's being said. I was able to clean it up quite a bit. I kind of think it's authentic. And so once I came to that decision for myself, I had no intention of ever playing it on my channel, but for my own thought, because it really does change my calculus on this whole crime and criminal. Alleged crime and criminal. We were told that the 4 were killed very quickly in their beds. Correct? That's what we're told by the medical exam, the coroner. When you listen to this audio and you've got a cleaned up version and you can hear it, you can envision kind of what happened, and it wasn't easy. So at that point, then my idea of Brian is different. I don't believe at all that this was a stealthy, controlled, cold action. I think it was, I think he made mistakes from the very beginning. I think it was chaos. I think it was just a comedy of errors from a criminal point of view. I think he just muddled the whole thing. And that's probably what saved Dylan is as soon as he could get away, he wanted out. It wasn't, he had built it up in his mind to be something that it wasn't in reality. He wasn't the cool, cold killer that BTK is. He didn't go in there like some kind of horrible, sadistic ballet. And, he was a bumbling idiot, essentially. Okay, so that being said, I'm giving this thought to this Ring audio, and I'm thinking, this really does change the way I see this guy. And what's the chances that this is real? How is it? I mean, for all intent purposes, listening to it, hearing the progression, you can definitely envision it. It seems real to me. It sounds real to me. And so then I'm thinking, but how do you end up getting this out into the hands of the public? Clearly, the prosecutor doesn't want this. Clearly, the defense team does not want this. In fact, they're going to fight like hell to get this video thrown out. And I thought, well, is that why we got it? Are they the ones that dumped it? And this is going to be the foundation for them trying to get the thing thrown out in terms of a jury. And then I remembered a conversation that I had with the security people that came to do our home system. And so it turns out that Ring Doorbell actually does have quite a problem with their security issues. Okay. So there are thousands of reports online of incidents of unauthorized Ring doorbell or Ring camera users where some kid, some teen somewhere thinks it's funny and they're making your doorbell go off all night long. All night. You're just laying in bed. It's going ring, ring, ring. It sounds like BBT Boston. And there's nobody there. And there's nothing wrong with your Ring doorbell. It's just that it's been hacked. And so you've got some kids that are, messing with you. There are some real security vulnerabilities as well. I mean, it's not simply just kind of harmless fun. There can also be malicious. Some of the hacking that's being done can be quite malicious. The Ring doorbells are actually a weakness in your home security because these hackers can go through the Ring system once they gain access to the doorbell and camera itself. Now they can actually access your Wi-Fi. And then if your Wi-Fi is not protected properly, they can go into any of your devices that may be connected to your Wi-Fi. So unfortunately, Ring doorbell and uneducated users have actually put a device onto their home system that allows hackers to easily exploit your security system as well as your computers, your televisions, any Alexis, anything that may be hooked up to your system. So that got me thinking, and I thought, well, that's kind of a stretch, it's not going to be hard to, okay, so it's not going to be hard to identify the device because they all but told us the address of the location of the doorbell that it was all recorded on. And so lo and behold, when I really got to kind of digging into some other conversations, yes, in fact, okay, I hate to say this because it sounds so foolish and silly, but it's what it sounded like to me. Okay, apparently there is some hackers, and yes, one of the hackers, when he talked online to another person, he does have a Russian accent. So I hate to say Russian hackers after all the political nonsense that our country has lived through. But like .com, and there's a lot of hackers that have been able to get their hands on really valuable political, national security type of information. They were able to get, Hillary Clinton's emails, which should have been like the most secure network imaginable, correct? So it's not a far cry to think that some college student in Moscow, Idaho, ordered a Ring doorbell off of Amazon and installed it according to the directions without awareness of, no, you've just introduced a vulnerability into your computer system. So apparently there's a group of men who sound Russian or Ukrainian or Czechoslovakian or whatever. They sound like they're from the Russian Republic, somewhere in the Republic. And they're apparently the ones that hacked the doorbell. They claim that they did it and they sent it in, and that the police that's how the police got it. I don't know if it's true. I have zero idea if it's true. But that's really and truly a thing. So, we are going to stay with me here. Present. Dun, 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 dun.
People are really worried about their online devices, such as the Ring cameras, getting hacked by people and then watching them and listening to them. So I thought I would create this video to show you what is vulnerable and what's not, and how to protect yourself. Specifically, we're going to talk about Ring cameras, but this really applies to any online device that may be in your home or business. Let's take a look at a modern network. Let's say, for instance, you have a security camera, such as a Ring camera, on your network. Is it vulnerable? Well, in certain ways it can be. So let's talk about the other devices that could make it vulnerable. You have a smartphone, you might have a tablet, you might have a laptop or a computer, or a combination of all of these. And they're all connected to something. And it could be a wireless access point, as well as a router/firewall, which you get from your ISP, which is your internet service provider. So all of these devices can connect to the internet. Many of the wireless access points nowadays are actually connected to your router/firewall. So this might just be one device, or it might be separate devices. And all these devices are connected to wireless or hardwired in, and then they're connected to the internet. So where does our hacker come in? Well, our hacker can try to get through from the internet through your firewall, but let's see what happens. Since your firewall has all of its ports inbound being blocked by default, there's really no way for that hacker to get through there. So this is not the vulnerable point in which your network will allow hackers into your security camera or other devices. So how do they get through? Here's one way that they can get through. They can completely bypass the internet, firewall, router, Wi-Fi, all that kind of stuff by compromising your login. So let's take, for example, the Ring login. So we see here that the hacker's gone and compromised the login at the web page, gone to the security camera directly, and bypassed your internal network as far as going through your firewall security. Your Ring and other online devices go through a website. So they actually go outbound through your firewall where there is no security, out to the login web page at ring.com, for instance, and then they broadcast your video back to your smartphone or tablet. So I'm at Ring's website where I can create a login. Now, I currently don't have a Ring camera, although I have set them up for family members and for other people. So I'm not that concerned about the security of Ring itself. And Ring even says that their security is not broken. We'll take a look at how hackers can get around that. So I've created my account, and now it wants me to create a password. And here's the first vulnerability that you can run into. We see a minimum of 8 characters. You should use a lot more than 8 characters. You should also use different types of characters or a passphrase. I would recommend at least 15 characters total. So here I've typed in my password as just password with a capital P and a 0. And it's going to actually let me create that account using something so simple. And this is a way that hackers can get in. They can just use a lot of passwords that are very common, password 1234 and various other ones that are out there that everybody knows about. So instead, I'm going to get rid of this and use a much stronger password. Now I've created a password with many characters, with uppercase and lowercase, with numbers, symbols, that kind of thing. We see that it's very strong. So I'll go ahead and create my account. Now, if I were a hacker and I could guess your password, then I would be in. So what could Ring do to increase security? Well, one way is it could require strong passwords, not just allow weak passwords and warn you about them. They could also add in security questions as a requirement rather than just as an option. And this isn't just true of Ring. This is true of a lot of these various different online devices, sometimes referred to as Internet of Things. And this could be now your toaster, your refrigerator, your washer, dryer. All these different things are going to be internet connected. And unfortunately, security is not always the highest thing that's on the list because a lot of these manufacturers, they want to make it easy for people to sign in. It also makes it easier for hackers to take over. Let's look at another way that hackers get in. So here we have hackers gaining access from your phone or tablet. Your phones and tablets connect to, say, the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store or whatever it is that you're using. And a lot of times these applications are compromised. And once someone gains access to your smartphone and has administrator access over all your applications, it's simply easy enough to open up your Ring app or whatever else app you have and gain access to your online security camera or other device. So this is how you can protect yourself here. We noticed from the website, you could create a much stronger password. But to protect your devices, there's a few things that you can do here as I've typed out, such as you can review all your phone and tablet applications. You can easily go to all your applications, look at them, write them down, and then go online and check to see if there's any security risk by having those applications there. And if there are, you can go ahead and uninstall them. You can also add an antivirus or anti-malware software to your device. Apple doesn't allow many antivirus programs to be installed onto their device, but they have a closed system which does a little better job of checking applications. There's still a lot of compromised ones out there, just not as many as there are on Android. So if you have an Android device, definitely get a good anti-malware program. Don't add new applications without checking the security first. So if you're about to add an application, do a quick Google search, check out to see what the security risks may be. And if you're really concerned, go to a computer professional and get a checkup. Let them check out for maybe $50 or $100 to see if your device is compromised in any way. Once again, this can bypass all of your security in your router and firewall or your wireless access point. And another way we can have our security compromised and hackers can gain access to your Ring camera or other device is the Wi-Fi. When you get your wireless access point, either from your internet provider or if you buy one on your own, a lot of times they will let you set up security that's not optimal. So what you want to do is you want to make sure that you set up AES encryption. That's an
Notice he tells you they will let you set up security that's not secure. I wonder why that is. Let's think about that for a minute. Well, how old are the people that are coming installing your equipment? Correct? They're pretty young. So these guys are bonded and trained and whatnot. But if you're kind of a guy up to no good, maybe you're leaving the field or you're new to the field or whatever, you might find it amusing to be able to watch, the newest movies without paying for it. There might be some non-malicious reasons to have the ability to access another person's security system and or television, Amazon purchases, computers, not that they're going to like try to steal your social security number, open up, accounts, not that kind of thing. But there might be a bad actor in the mix, right? There may be. So we got to be very careful. If somebody tells you that, just make you a password. A good one is, sex with a capital E, 1, 2, 3. Don't do it. That's the number one password in the world. I don't know why, because people are weird. Okay. So you really should, if you've got a security system, if you're doing the Wi-Fi and all that, you really probably ought to call a security expert to come in and assess the weaknesses in your system. They're really easy to close up. But for people like me and you, this isn't what we do. We don't know the field. Excuse me. Then we might as well just be blindfolded. We have no idea the easy access is there. I did notice somebody said, what about a VPN? Sure, absolutely. VPN helps a lot. But in this specific case where we're talking about Brian Koberger and Xana, Ethan, Maddie, and Kaylee, they, the affidavit, it told us where the house was. It told us where the Ring camera was that was able to record the ambient sounds coming from the house. So, or from the neighborhood. So, there's two things. Okay. Let me finish this video here and then I'm going to I'll have a conversation with Evie and then give my final thoughts on this problem with, is the audio real or is it a fraud, a fake? Okay. But now the security expert is talking about your Wi-Fi system. But make no mistake about it, your Ring security, that is an access hole to get into your overall system if you're using Wi-Fi.
Option when you go to set up the security on your wireless access point. If you're unsure, again, hire a professional to come in. It won't cost that much, maybe $100 to $200, and they can make sure that you have the highest security set to your wireless access point so your Wi-Fi cannot be disabled or compromised. AES stands for Advanced Encryption Service, and at this point, it's considered unbreakable. So if you have a really strong password to go with that, then you should be fine from anybody hacking into your network. And they can not only access your security cameras, but any one of your devices are vulnerable if your Wi-Fi is compromised. So now you can see how hackers can gain access even if you have a firewall on the inside of your network protecting your devices. They can completely bypass all those things using the procedures that I just gave you. So have strong passwords, use secure wireless, and do reviews on any applications or devices that you're installing.
All right. So 15 digits, the alphanumeric system, 15 minimum for your banking, for your security, that kind of thing. of course, Facebook is probably don't need 15 digits or alphanumeric items, but okay. So real or fake? Well, there's 2 points in the audio that I think gives it credibility, right? I'm not going to tell you what they are because why do I want to put that information out there? But when I initially heard it, I said it's got to be a fake. There's no way law enforcement, the prosecutor, no way they would let this out. Can't be real. I doubt sincerely that the people that live at that house would put it out. Like, I completely doubt that. But I kept listening to it and refining it. And once I could hear what was being said, I could see it in my mind. And there's 2 things that are said, and I believe it's real. I think it's real. Now, Evie, where's Evie? Evie said, Evie Scorpio, which, welcome, Evie. Evie Scorpio said something. I'm going back so I could read exactly what she said. She said the owner of the house says it's BS. She did a test. Okay. Evie Scorpio says that the owner of the house did a test of neighbors arguing to show how much sound you get. That is not from the night of the murders. She wrote a statement. Audio was debunked by owner of the house. Look at channel, couch clips. It's a fake. I think that's everything she said. All right. Okay. First of all, I have heard recordings where when you first listen to something, there's like no sound. Your ears cannot discern anything. And then when the computer experts get in and begin to work with the audio, oh my God, it's amazing what they can do. Not from what they can hear, but being able to pick up the sound waves that are recorded on these cameras and microphones. I had, let's see, at my house, I think we're 50, 60 yards from the road, right? We got a really, really big, long front yard, long front driveway. So one of my cameras picks up all the way from one corner of the block, all the way down in front of my house, and then maybe another 100 yards on the other side. There are people that drive by like on golf carts. I can hear them talking. I know what they're saying. I can hear what they're saying. So it is very easy to discount what these cameras, microphones are able to do. But computers are very powerful. The microphones are picking up these ambient sounds, and the people that work in this field, they know what they're looking for when they're looking at the logs that show the actual sound waves. They can show you which sound waves are human voices or a dog barking or the rustling of trees. They know which ones to hone in on, and they can take other sounds out, like if there's a car horn honking, they can just delete that off of the recording. So maybe the house owner did not realize that this was recorded. Maybe they just the cops went around and collected recordings, and she didn't really have, or they, who, male or female, didn't really have recognition that it was really recorded. Like, they looked at it, they didn't really see anything. definitely what's in the affidavit, however you pronounce it, um, is is I think a little bit more succinct than what you hear on the recording, which leads me to believe that yeah, the cops can hear it. They got that footage, and I do believe that someone, and I don't remember where I heard this from. It's just in my head that they had actually taken 3 or 4 different recordings from different Ring doorbells at different times, and then they collated, put it all together, strung it together, and collated it so that they've got this kind of running dialogue that the various cameras were able to pick up. So, and now you have some people admitting online that they're the ones that did it and that they sent it to the police. They claim that they did it and sent it to the police department. Now, whether it's real, I don't have that. I don't know, but I heard them talking about it. So there's that. All right. Another thing I heard that I think is not true is, this is so bizarre, that Brian Koberger has Raynaud's, right? Now, I haven't seen that. We have 200 people in here. Have any of you actually seen something that seems legitimate, claiming, hey, this guy has Raynaud's syndrome or Raynaud's disorder? Anybody seen or heard that? Because I have not, and I'm telling you, I have been, I have been in search of information. Anybody? Okay, there's a no. Hey, Kel. There's a no. There's a no. No. How do you spell that? Reynaud. Nope. Lots of no's. Okay. I hadn't seen that either. His hands were red in cuffs. That does not mean, oh, no, doesn't mean Raynaud's at all. People are trying to say he is on the autism spectrum as well. I hate it. Thomas Tier, no. Okay. I have not either, and I've been immersed in this. Okay. So the fact that so many of you are saying no, I'm with you. I agree. I do kind of believe, I do kind of believe that one of the reasons that somebody, I don't know who, somebody would say, oh, I think he's got a Raynaud's. Maybe because, they came out and said that he was wearing gloves in the days after the crime, after the murders. No, that's just silly. Okay. Don't start rumors like that. You don't have any reason other than, oh, well, I have Raynaud's and I wear gloves. Maybe he did too. Just stop. Don't do that. The same people that are saying that he had Raynaud's are the same people that are trying to say that the postings from a 2010 to 2012, 13 discussion board, that's not true. That's all a fraud. Okay, well, last time I checked, you can't go onto a discussion bulletin board and change the date of the postings. That ain't going to happen. So, no Raynaud's is my guess. And then the bulletin board discussion is quite an interesting topic. Okay, let's talk a little bit about his hands, okay? So another thing I think that the reason that people wanted to arrive, kitty dog, what do you think? Does he have Raynaud's? No. Say no, mama. No, mama. Okay. No. Hush. Shh. You're going to make all the dogs in America, in the world, start barking because they hear you barking. You better go see if there's a treat. Go get a treat. Hurry, hurry, kitty, go get your treat. Sorry, my dog's barking at me. Okay. So apparently Brian does have a fairly severe neurological disorder. And so I thought what I would do, rather than going directly into that topic, I'm going to make a new video on that because that can be quite a long video, right? I will address this question of his red hands and wearing gloves. I'll go ahead and do that right now, okay? But then I'm gonna do a different video on the discussion board. What you're seeing, and there's some of you guys that may know this because either you have OCD or somebody you in your family, somebody you love has OCD. It does appear that Brian is a hand washer. So I think that what people are reacting to and thinking, oh, that's Raynaud's. No, what you're seeing is the effect of compulsive hand washing. That's why his hands look really, really white. And then around his wrist, there's like this really red. And that the really red part could be the irritation from the handcuffs, perhaps, maybe. But that really white blanched skin, that comes from the soap. That comes from the constant hand washing. Okay. And maybe that is why he's wearing gloves, is OCD. He's a germaphobe. He doesn't want to get germs on his hands. But we saw him in the car with his dad, and he wasn't wearing the gloves. So, there's some there's some unusual things. I know that Dr. Latina, who is in fact a physician, she felt like also in addition to the really blanched kind of white skin that I associate with OCD, with compulsive hand washing. I see it all the time in my office. I know what it was. A lot of times people will present and they'll actually have cracked and bleeding palms where they've been washing and washing and washing and washing and washing. Okay. So Dr. Latina, who is a physician, she looked at the footage and she felt like, I agree with her, but I'm not a physician. I'm a psychologist. But she said that she felt like his right hand looked very swollen and looked like one of the knuckles was compromised. She felt like he had a broken knuckle in his hand. And then, of course, a lot of people said, no, it's not broken. It's not broken. Okay, but can we at least defer to her area of expertise? I mean, this is what she does. This her training and her. She is a practicing physician. She goes to the office every day and sees patients and examines broken bones. And let's have a little bit of thought about this. Okay. So I do feel like there was swelling. She said it looked like a boxing injury. And then I definitely felt like the minute I saw it, I thought, aha, compulsive hand washing. There it is right there. And you remember I told you boxer's fracture. It does look like a typical boxer's fracture. There you go. I said, a week ago when he got arrested and everything, I told you guys that, so in the same way that, physiology, broken bones, the damage to the physical body, that is, Dr. Latina's training, that is her, that's her training, and she specializes in something else, but that's where she got her training. In the same way, she is, I consider her expert on YouTube in terms of the physio aspect. My training is clinical psychology, and I'm a practicing psychologist. It's what I do. Like, I work with people with OCD, compulsive hand washing, checking, developing coping skills, pain management, adjustment disorders, major depressive disorder. So some of these things, it's my area of expertise as well. So when I saw his hands, is very stereotypical for a compulsive hand washer. It's what they look like. Me too, thing one. Me too. Okay, so I think his hands are oddly shaped. I felt like that too, but his body is kind of odd, isn't it, Kel? I felt like his overall build is a bit unusual. His hands oddly larger, didn't look like they went on his body. And his head looks a little bit small for the width of his shoulders. So that's a little bit odd. It was pointed out in another YouTube channel, the right hand, the middle knuckle looks red, swollen, and marks. That, yes, Pamela, that's what Dr. Latino was referring to by the boxer's fracture. She felt like on the right hand that it did look like there might be like a small fracture, and there was definitely swelling over the primary knuckle and then at the base of the thumb. Like it was discernible. But from my point of view, what I see all the time, compulsive hand washing, and I told y'all when he was first arrested, it came up in our conversation one night about psychiatry and potential diagnoses and that kind of thing. And I said, with serial killers or stalkers, that is the problem of OCD. That is at the basis of the behaviors. They have become obsessed with someone or something, and they have a compulsion to follow and to record and really kind of slither into their lives without them knowing it. It gives them a sense of titillation, excitement. It makes them feel loved. That movie that Robin Williams was in, Photo Booth? No. 24-hour, 1 hour photo. Is it called was that movie 1 hour photo? It shows him, he's going through the family photographs. He even makes double prints for himself. He puts all their photographs up on his wall at home. He begins to have a relationship with the family. Now, to them, he's just a nobody. He's just a guy, at the photo counter. But for him, he's actually developed a delusional state where he believes he's in a relationship. He begins fantasizing about romance, and and then he starts going into the family's home. I mean, it is creepy, and that's kind of what you're looking at, with someone like Brian, following the girls around, driving past their house at 3:00 in the morning. In his mind, he was developing a relationship with them. He was getting in, close with them. So such a scary movie, Purple Butterfly. I agree. Terrifying. Yep. Let's see. Anything else before we end this live? I hope that this was interesting. I hope it definitely is an eye-opener to realize that you put up this camera believing that it's going to make you safer and give you a sense of security. But if you don't manage the actual proper security, you can have just opened up a door to your computer system, your Wi-Fi network. If they have access to get into the Ring camera system, that is an app online, if they can get into that, now they get right into your computer. They bypass the firewall, everything. Like, I'll never forget the computer guy, the security guy telling me, my jaw, I just was like, you're kidding. He's like, no. So, he got everything all set up for us. But just, again, I never would have brought this up except for the audio that we've all heard. I'll never play it on my channel. I'll never tell you where to find it. None of that. Because it's very intimate. It belongs to it. It's just like that. Just like that doorbell footage of Shanann coming home should never have been put out there. Should never have been put out. No one was entitled to see that, to see her final moments, except her own family. Nobody. So that's only my opinion. Don't get mad at me. It's my opinion. Is it fake or real? There are two things in the video that make me believe that it's real. There's someone who's come out and said that it is fake, that they tried to see if somebody could pick it up, or what the microphone could record, and they couldn't, you couldn't tell what you were hearing. But they're leaving out that part about the computer manipulation of what gets recorded. So I thought that, whether you think the audio is real or you think it is a faked copy, whatever, I still felt like this was really important information for everybody to know. That if you do have these outside doorbell cameras and whatnot, please contact a security person. Let them come in and check your system and tell you how do you protect yourself. At the very least, when you set it up, if you have a 15 alphanumeric digit passcode, I guess, a 15 mixed numbers and letters and symbols for getting into that account, then you're safe. Then your firewall and everything does what it's supposed to do. But you can't just put it up there with the password being, Jules123. That'll get hacked so easily and so quickly. I mean, really and truly, the girl's house, probably the password was probably something like vandals. It was something super easy to guess. And then of course there's software that searches and looks for passwords. But all right, Misty, thank you so much for becoming a new member. I appreciate you. Something about Joseph Morris. After what Joseph Morris did, oh my God. Joseph Morris has really got a problem, I think. He has removed hundreds of thousands of views. He has taken down all of his videos up until starting in the summer. And all of this happened right after the whole, he faked the scream, yada, yada. So we don't know if the cops paid a visit, if YouTube said, we're taking your channel, if you don't take all this down. We don't really know what happened, but he's definitely made some really big moves on YouTube recently. So yeah, I'm baffled by the fakery. You know what I mean? I don't understand how the faking, how it helps the conversation, the discourse. I don't understand it. I know there's people that say, well, they do it for the views. They do it to try to get more people, more money, blah, blah, blah. But can I be honest? There's not really a lot of extra money in a couple of hundred views. So I don't know. But this isn't the first time Joseph Morris did it. Remember during the Gabby Petito case, he faked this footage of a boat in water. And it began to drive this narrative that, Brian is out in the Gulf of Mexico somewhere, right? So people found that. Well, then with this scream, Ichtmel, who was amazing, was his team was able to go back and find the part that he had put out was actually from a YouTuber having a fight with her husband or live-in boyfriend, or I don't know what the status of the relationship is, but that they were having an argument, and he took a little clip off of that and faked it into this video that he did. So yeah, Joseph, wow, you really, Integrity, Joseph Morris. Integrity. All right. Okay, everybody. I hope you guys have a great afternoon. Thank you so much for being here. Check your passwords on your Ring doorbell. All right. Lest someone gets a recording of what you are talking about at the end of the day. Please subscribe, hit the bell, leave a comment, thumbs up.